Welcome to the first episode of Step in the Right Direction, a look at what made the classics, classics. Today we are taking a gander at Super Mario Kart, the OG karting experience, to share with your friends and family shouting at each other in a fashion only brought out by Nintendo Party Games. Released in September 1992 for the Super Nintendo, the title was a dramatic shift from the style of classic staples of the Mario franchise, such as Super Mario World and the original Mario series for the NES. It took full advantage of the Super Nintendo's Mode 7 abilities, which allowed a flat pixel art graphic to be scaled by each scan line to give a three-dimensional effect. Super Mario Kart featured a roster hosting such franchise icons as Mario, Luigi, Bowser, Yoshi, Toad, and a solitary Koopa Trooper, as well as including the title character from another popular Nintendo IP, Donkey Kong. The title was well received in both Japan and the US and was praised for its innovation and use of Mode 7. But was this classic as fantastic as the Wikipedia article would lead you to believe? The short answer is no. What the shenanigans have you people been playing? This finger quotes game is barely playable, let alone enjoyable. Scripted rage aside, let's get into the hard-to-understand game design jargon that I like to pretend I know an inkling about. Let's start with overall playability. The goal of the game is to move at high speeds and to reach an end goal while navigating through obstacles, similar to the bastard child of bad ideas and no knowledge of game design, Sonic 06. And it fails just as hard as people tried to like, the aforementioned Sonic Losax. The karts are near impossible to steer. Only about 2% of the obstacles are not flat textures on the ground, and the game only exudes fun in the same way that the word butts is hilarious at 3 in the morning. The answer to the previous statement is only with friends, and for about 30 seconds. The problem with the game is that it was ahead of its time. And by ahead of its time, I mean it was way too far ahead of its time. Like, Chrono trying to save the universe ahead. That's 1300 years ahead for all of you non-dorks. Anyway, the idea behind the game is solid. Create a racing game based around popular Nintendo characters on short, obstacle-filled looping tracks. That's a recipe for fun, if I've ever heard one. Cheesy 90s thumbs up? But the technology was not there at the time. It was a game built for 3D, evident by its limit-pushing use of Mode 7, but the SNES's capabilities weren't sufficient. The game suffers from major issues, such as obstacles being flat textures on the ground. The only obstacle in the game that is a sprite in 3D space are the pipes. Whether due to resource restrictions or just bad planning on the dev team's part, it creates major inconsistency. A game should be designed to teach the player the rules of that game's universe, especially in a genre-forming game such as this, without explicitly telling the player the rules. For example, in Mario 64, when a player runs and jumps at a hedge, they will collide with the hedge, but if they run and jump at a tree, they will begin to climb the tree. This teaches the player that some obstacles can be climbed while others can't, often indicated by similarities in the 3D model, such as a pole-like shape for climbable objects. In Super Mario Kart, some obstacles lay flat on the ground while pipes stand up. Walls that can be run into are nothing but textures on the ground, and to put this bluntly,
I can't see that shit!
So overall, Super Mario Kart isn't a terrible game. Though it received much praise, and rightly so, for its innovation and concept, the game lost out to the restrictions of the SNES. But none of this is a bad thing. The failure to create a competent kart racer for the first time led to an incredible sequel, Mario Kart 64, and 4 subsequent titles. And that really shitty one for the Game Boy. It was like Soup Croquet? Ultra Circuit? Super Mega Crash Times? I don't know. Played it once. Emphasis on once. It was bad. It was really bad. It was like Super Mario Kart's slightly better-looking brother, who's still kind of douchey, but you kick it with him every once in a while everyone else is busy. It's like Waluigi!